today is 6 months since we started this journey of traveling. So we thought we'd give you some insight on how this lifestyle works for us, where we've been, and some of our favorite places.
So sit back, relax, maybe even pour a big tall glass of your favorite beverage, and let's get into this.
All right, so let's start with when we left the U.S. It took us 2 days of traveling to get from Atlanta, Georgia to Bangkok, Thailand.
So we started at my mom's house in Fairplay, South Carolina, drove down to Atlanta, Georgia, flew from Atlanta to Washington, D.C., had a long layover there. From D.C. we went to Abu Dhabi in UAE, had another kind of long layover, long enough to go to a lounge, get a meal, relax, do a hasty washing, if you will. And then from there we flew the last 6 or 7 hours to Bangkok.
We had expected the kids, or us for that matter, to have at least one meltdown, like a big time meltdown. I mean, 13 hours on one plane was a lot. But really, Austin had one meltdown at the lounge in Abu Dhabi, and that was it. So we did much better, and the kids especially did a lot better than we could have ever imagined. That just shows us that they were very excited for this journey to begin, just as excited as we were.
And they were better behaved than I give them credit for.
They're pretty good kids.
Yeah. Bangkok was the first, it was our introduction to Southeast Asia, and it didn't disappoint at all. By the time we had cleared customs and picked up our bags, it was about 0900 or 9 a.m. local time.
The heat and the smell just hits you, like you can feel it instantly. It's not really anything that you can understand unless you experience it. So that was our very first impression. And then we walked
about 500 meters.
About 500 meters to our apartment with 4 suitcases, 2 kids,
4 backpacks,
and 2 adults. And that was fun. But I do recall the one thing I really, really remember, other than the smell and the temperature, was people helping us along the way. Like one really nice person I was struggling with 2 suitcases up the steps, and one really nice man just grabbed my suitcase and walked up and carried it right back down for me, and then just carried on his way.
We knew that we were going to be in good hands, we'll say. We had no idea. No idea. Like, all we had to do is stand there like this with that newfound look on our faces, and someone would rush over and speak really good English. Like, that's one of the things that you see, especially when people compare Thailand to here in the Philippines, is people don't, there's a language barrier. A lot of people speak English in Bangkok.
Yeah, it's not a barrier.
Yeah.
So yeah, just the helpfulness of strangers and just the kindness of everyone was the thing that stands out to me. And then the second thing was?
Street food.
The food. Don't go there to eat pad thai.
Right. Definitely not.
Try some of the other stuff. There's lots we could talk about. We'll talk about that a little bit later, our favorite foods. But yeah, try some of the stuff. Go to the markets. Get the stuff. You won't regret it.
Yeah.
But it is spicy.
It is very spicy, so I'm probably... Oh, go ahead.
Even if you say no spicy, it's still going to be spicy. But not in a bad way. You'll like it. I promise.
Food's spicy in Thailand, but it's freaking delicious.
So we like to eat, but other than eating, what do you want to do? It's in Bangkok. That's all we can say about that. If you want to do it, you can find a way to do it in Bangkok.
Yes, and it's for that reason that Bangkok is my favorite place in the world, or my favorite city in the world. I think it just has everything you could imagine, and a lot of things you can't imagine.
So after we spent about 4 days in Bangkok, we flew to Phuket, Thailand, and boy, that's all I can say. After the hustle and bustle of Bangkok, Phuket was such a nice surprise, and just...
Yeah.
Gosh.
So we have to frame, the timeline of when we arrived in Phuket. It was probably the 2nd week or 3rd week of September 2022. The tourism was most certainly not still back. We checked into our accommodation, which was absolutely beautiful and dirt cheap. Walked the 100 meters to the beach, all inside the little condo. And we're greeted with a sight that I don't think we could have dreamed of. We go to the beach. It's the middle of the day. So there's 2 p.m. on a Sunday afternoon on the weekend, and we could see to our right there were people about 800 meters away, and to our left, all the way down to where the airport was no one, literally no one. And we're just sort of looking at each other like, is this real life?
This is paradise. Where are all the people? But other than that, other than just the beauty of the beaches, the accommodation was just ridiculous. And it's like he said, it was dirt cheap. I think we guesstimated it was around $44 per night. You were expected to pay your own electricity and water, but that was not.
Yeah, it's basically free.
It was inconsequential.
Yeah.
So yeah, needless to say, we had a really good time in Phuket.
Yeah, and probably one of the neat things is we were from the last pool. There's multiple pools. From the last pool, you were 20 meters away from a 500 baht massage, a 1 hour 500 baht massage.
On the beach.
We'll put that up here somewhere. What that is in dollars right now. And that was straight ahead. If you were to turn left and go about another 100 meters, not even, probably like 60, there was a fantastic restaurant. It wasn't the cheapest restaurant, but like if you wanted prawns that were caught that day, that's where they were. If you wanted the curry, the curry,
I love
and
that
it was on
restaurant.
the ocean. And
This restaurant,
it had swings, it's just so good.
Greenleaf, I think is what it was
Greenleaf,
called. The
yeah.
Greenleaf restaurant in Phuket.
For sure, we'll put their location in the description.
So let me just summarize. Amazing beaches, pretty secluded beaches if you wanted.
Yeah.
If you wanted busy, you could find that, but secluded beaches, a 500 baht massage on the beach within walking distance from our hotel. Amazing restaurant within walking distance on the beach for epic sunsets. Phuket.
It's ridiculous. And also, we did go to a couple of other beaches, and they were just fantastic also. Like, if a lot of foreigners go to Phuket, it's very easy to understand why.
So while we were in Phuket, Chris decided one day to take a drive to a viewpoint that he'd seen on his screensaver. So he drove that morning and then came back and said, yes, we need to go. So we only went with the expectation of going to the same viewpoint. But once we got there, we were like, we have to go on a boat and see more of this. Phang Nga Bay, just go.
Yeah, that's all that needs to be said. We'll leave a link to our video. Just go. If you think it looks good on a video, and we don't do good, we suck at this. But watch another video on YouTube of Phang Nga Bay that's done better with someone who understands, cinematography better. It does absolutely no justice. Like that viewpoint, when I went back and looked at pictures and videos after the fact, I was gobsmacked of how unimpressive it was. When you're there in real life, it's unbelievable. I still think it's the most beautiful place I've ever seen.
So if you can,
Caveat.
go. Okay, so after we left Phuket, we're still in Thailand, so we took a flight back to Bangkok and then took a cab to Pattaya, but specifically Jomtien area of Pattaya.
As a family, a lot of people are turned off by Pattaya. If you avoid the beer bars, if you avoid Walking Street, Pattaya was surprisingly a fantastic place for a family.
There's a lot of things to do there for the family. There was amusement parks, there was a museum, there was an aquarium, there are big malls that have indoor playgrounds, there's the beach, there's water sports, so many fun things you could do with your family.
One of our favorite things to do, so we met an Australian family, a lady and her 2 children while we were there that were staying in the same condo. And she was a Pattaya veteran, if you will. And she introduced us to the Jomtien night market. You get on the baht bus, you pay your 10 baht. Is it 10?
I think it was 10 baht.
Yeah, or 20, whatever, some inconsequential amount of money. You'd walk down to Beach Road from, we were at Second Road. Get on Beach Road, hop on a song towel, the baht bus, if you will, and go to the night market for 30 cents. Get there. There was fantastic pad thai there. Mm-hmm. But there's fantastic a lot of other things. Just the scenery, the people break dancing, the families and friends eating together, kids playing, you know. And there was a playground across the street. Right beside the playground was one of the better beaches that you would hang out on in the Jomtien area. We really like that night market. Strongly encourage, you know, if you're traveling with a family. Obviously, if you're a single dude, don't, you know, does not apply.
If you're a single dude and you do want a good time, Pattaya is probably a good choice. You can find it if you want it. You can find it in Pattaya. So with that said, if you have ever thought of Las Vegas as Sin City, you've not been to Pattaya. So yeah, there's that too. But overall, I would say like it's a good place.
Yeah, especially, you know, like with the family in mind, don't take your kids to Walking Street at night. We go after Pattaya. Yeah, it's oddly quiet over there. That's why Julie's...
I think they're up at the pool. Hold on, I need to go. Pause.
While she's gone, I'll go ahead and elaborate on the next one. Golarn. Golarn. Is that how you would say it in Thai? Golarn? I don't know. There's a cat scratching right there. It's cute. We went there, hung out on a beach all day, went to our Airbnb or our Agoda booking, and were unable to communicate with the person there. We couldn't get in. It was actually, hey kitty. That kitty's over here now. Let me see if I can pick it up. Hey kitty. This is the kitty that was over there scratching a moment ago. Hey kitty, kitty, kitty. You're in our video now. And a lot of kitties here have a half tail.
Oh my god! You're holding a cat?
Love you, buddy. Thank you for being so nice. Anyway, Golarn. Beautiful place. Absolutely beautiful. If you're in Pattaya, take that ferry over there. It's dirt cheap. I mean, like everything else. It's a 40-minute ferry ride. Crowded ferry, but it's only 40 minutes. Right when you walk off the pier, there is a motorbike rental. Hop on a motorbike and take off. You will not regret it. All the beaches there, the two we saw, were fantastic. So after Pattaya, we went to Kuala Lumpur. We expected Bangkok. It is not Bangkok. That was our only frame of reference, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So we only spent 4 days there?
No, it was more than that. It was 8 days. I looked.
Really?
Yeah, we spent 8 days there. It just went by so fast
It went by
because
so fast.
it rained every day. Kuala Lumpur is very, very hilly. Like it's in the foothill, or it's at the big, whatever the foothills of the mountains would be called on newer mountains than where we're from. And there's like jungle, and if there's not a building, there's jungle down there. And
Yeah.
I say down there because the accommodations
We were
we
high.
stayed at, we were on the 33rd floor. Basically, we could look straight out our window and see the KL Tower, which it was just pretty rad.
So we had a good view of that portion of the city. So we spent a lot of time looking at it from above. So that's
Yeah.
our frame of reference. But yeah, we only got to see a tiny portion of that giant city. So I feel like we can't really do it justice in explaining it. I really enjoyed it there. It's beautiful. There's so much green, which you don't often find in a city. You find planned green, but there was just greenscape everywhere. So yeah, the buildings, I don't even know what to say. It's some of the most beautiful buildings I've ever seen in my life. I never thought I would just like look at a building in awe. I never thought I would look at a building and be in awe, but I was over and over and over again.
Yeah, the Petronas Towers, we went there. That was our very first video on this channel. We went to the park and that giant playground.
Yes.
It's one of those things like when you see it in real life, and the KL 118 or the 118 Merdeka 118. When you're on, like we were in a tall building, and then we went to the top of the KL Tower. When you see how tall that building is, like as of today, it's the second tallest building in the world. It's hard to even like look at a picture and go, wow, that's a tall building. Like I can't imagine the ones in Dubai. It's that 118 building is so tall.
So yeah, go to KL too if you have the option, and I will go back if I have the option.
Yeah. So one thing about there, it's hot, and I don't mean like it's hot here right now. It's 35 every day. It rains every day. It's just, it's hot. It's steamy, but it's nice. So where'd we go next, Julie?
Pause. You can carry on.
Pause again.
You can carry on.
So we left Kuala Lumpur via bus. Took the 5-hour ride up to Penang. Penang can be as hectic as you want it to be, or as laid back as you want it to be. If you want to have a busy time and be around a lot of people, stay in Georgetown. There's tons to do. Fantastic food all over the place. So if you drive about an hour from Georgetown, counterclockwise on that one road that skirts the coast, you'll end up at the Penang fruit farm in the middle of the jungle. It's beautiful up there. Highly recommend it. The one thing that was continuous in Penang was that there was magnificent curry everywhere. We had our favorite spot. It was right there. We stayed right by Miami Beach. That's right. I'll definitely pin that. Like that lady's curry was to die for. God, so good. The lamb curry. Goodness gracious. The jungle or rainforest in Penang. I remember we pulled over one time for a bathroom break, and I'm standing there at the edge of the asphalt, and I literally can only see like this far in front of me. And it's just a wall of vegetation. Like you move this thing, and there's another thing right behind it, and you move it, and there's another thing right behind it. And there were bananas just growing on the side of the highway. Pretty cool. All right, we're back. So I just finished Penang.
Okay. Yeah,
So
Penang's
now we're
great.
talking about Langkawi.
Langkawi was nice. Good food, cheap beer, friendly people.
So it was like a constant theme in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur and in Penang. Everyone, literally everyone, would say, did you go to Langkawi yet? Have you been to Langkawi? Have you been? And we're like, what is this place? So we get there, and I have to say, for me especially, it was the biggest surprise of this whole trip. It's a place that somehow we'd never heard of. I'd never heard of it. Had you heard of it?
No.
Yeah, so neither of us had ever heard of it. It's right by Kuala Lumpur in Thailand. I mean, it's like a 20-minute ferry if ferries were running right now. Stunning location. It's an archipelago of 99 islands. It's a 15-minute flight from Penang. It's stunning.
So we stayed on two sides of Langkawi. We were having trouble. We had 2 weeks to stay there, right? Or like
No, we were in Langkawi for
4 days.
I have it written down.
5
days.
days.
We spent 5 days in Langkawi.
So when I was trying to book a accommodation, I couldn't decide which section of Langkawi to stay. So we chose two sections. The Senang Beach was very touristy, which if that's what you're looking for, it's a good place to go because again, food is super cheap, people are super nice.
Western food is still expensive
Yes,
there.
everywhere.
But beer, there's no import duty. So beer, alcohol is very cheap, and chocolate and things like that,
Yeah.
watches.
But a beautiful beach and just really touristy. There were more non-local people than local people.
However, on the other side of the island, which is where we spent more time in Kua, which is on the other side, it's where the ferry landing is. It has that local vibe, like there were no foreigners. The food was marvelous, and it like where we ate breakfast may as well have been free. It was so cheap. I mean, I think like the four of us ate for like $1.10. But yeah, what else do we want to say about it? There's a huge parks, beautiful parks. There's that gargantuan eagle statue for some reason.
I could easily spend a month or more there.
Yeah. I think the downside to Langkawi is that you could very easily, in 3 to 6 months, explore all of it. And when I say all of it, I mean you could hike every trail, you could go to every peak, you could go to every beach on every one of those 99 islands in 3 to 6 months. It's a small place. I think to drive across the whole thing is probably 20 minutes. Yeah, but if you're in Southeast Asia and you're like, I want to go somewhere that's uncommon that not a lot of people go to Langkawi. It's beautiful.
Right, so then after Langkawi, we, guess where? We went back to Thailand. So we flew straight to Bangkok.
So, we love Bangkok. It's, well, I love Bangkok. I think Julie tolerates Bangkok because it has so much to offer. And there's so many ways you can escape the heat in air conditioning. We stayed kind of between Benjikiti Park and Lumpini Park, but it was during APEC 2022. So, to say that there was a cop or soldier or Secret Service agent or their equivalent from every country on earth, literally everywhere you went, would be an understatement. I mean, like thousands of police and stuff like that everywhere. Parts of the parks were shut down. Many roads were shut down. It ended while we were there. We had a couple days without that.
So then we flew to Chiang Mai, Thailand, and we were there for 34 glorious days. Even though it's a city of 1 million plus people, it feels like a small town.
Yeah, everywhere you go. So it's all flat. The second place we stayed was within the old walled city, or the old city, which was within a square wall, which is really cool to see from the mountains, by the way, because you can see the square of short buildings. It keeps that local neighborhood vibe, like you just walk everywhere or ride a bicycle, but we mostly walked. Yeah, and it's safe. Like, it feels safe. Like, we were probably, I would say, 400 meters from the nearest 7-Eleven when we were staying in the walled city. And she probably wouldn't. I would feel safe just letting Reagan, as an 8-year-old, walk to 7-Eleven and get a milk in the morning, for example. Or even at night. You see kids younger than 8 just out and about.
However, the burning season was just getting started when we left, and I'm not sure I could be there when it was full on. The smoke was starting to get bad. I was feeling it in my throat and lungs by the time we left.
To caveat that, we really weren't there in burning season. Like, burning season really starts this month, and we left 2 months ago. February, March, April, that's when burning season is. And we'll talk about if you're going to live in Chiang Mai, how to do it.
Then we went to Chiang Rai, and we stayed one glorious day. It's like a little Chiang Mai. That was my impression of it. But there are some very cool temples there. So check it out if you have time.
Yeah. And it's a great drive there. It's just mountains and beauty. It's awesome.
So then after Chiang Rai, it was time to leave Thailand. So we headed to Vietnam. First stop, Da Nang.
Da Nang. So we get to Da Nang at the end of December, and it was cold, and it was windy, and it was raining.
And we're not prepared for cold weather. We're traveling light. We don't have any coats.
Like long sleeves or pants.
So we were unprepared for it. And then Chris and Reagan got sick, and they pretty much missed the first
like a week, yeah,
of the time we were there. So, but it was raining and cold anyway, so they didn't miss too much.
Also, did we mention that it's cold? Like, actual cold.
Even the locals were wearing sweaters and like huge down jackets. So yeah, it's cold there. Yeah. And then after Da Nang.
Well, we should probably also say that Da Nang looked like a place that when it is warm and sunny, like the beach, like I think that beach is 30 kilometers long.
And
like,
it was beautiful.
Yeah, and it's a huge beach. There's the Lady Buddha. There's all sorts of food. There's our kids. Well, there's Austin screaming in the background. All right, so we left Da Nang and went to Ho Chi Minh City, Saigon.
I chose District 7 specifically because it's city-like, but again, with that local feel, like small neighborhood feel. So I also felt safe there walking around by ourselves. There's lots of parks, lots of restaurants, and the traffic isn't nearly as bad as District 1 of Ho Chi Minh. So I specifically chose that for that reason, and I think that was a good choice.
Yeah, so we did go to District 1 for the Tet festivities. Did a video on that also. Incredible time. This is the biggest group of people I've ever seen, for sure. Probably, I would guess there were 1 million people out, and we were told during Tet the city would be a ghost town. But I think literally there were more than 1 million people out at the concert and fireworks show.
Yeah, it was a great atmosphere, and I'm really glad we had that time.
Yeah, so it was so fun. I think we want to go to Hanoi next year for Tet. We'll do Chinese Lunar New Year somewhere else after that, but I definitely think we want to do it in Hanoi. From Ho Chi Minh City, we flew to the Philippines. Here we are.
We flew specifically into Manila, and we stayed there for 3 days.
Yep.
We stayed in a nice condo area, and it was good because it was within walking distance to restaurants and grocery shopping. There's some really cool shopping malls in Manila, specifically the Mall of Asia, which is giant. When we first got there, I was like, this doesn't look that big. I heard it was the largest mall in Asia. It doesn't look that big, but I mean, it is sprawling. I was used to the malls in Bangkok that are just vertical, yeah, like 11, 12 floors. But the Mall of Asia is just sprawling, like it goes on and on and on. Yeah. So that was fun. And then the kids really loved the amusement park, Star City. And I heard after the fact that isn't even the best one. So it was like an indoor/outdoor amusement park, which was cool. They enjoyed that. So when we were in Manila, we went to BGC. We just sort of went there as a day trip.
Bonifacio Global City.
Yep. And we didn't stay there, but we just visited a couple of times, and it's the most un-Manila place in Manila.
Right.
It's very Western. And then, so after Makati,
after Manila.
After Manila, another section, I think, of Manila
proper.
is Makati. So we stayed there for 5 days.
Hey, bud.
Hey, Dad.
He needs a drink.
Give him a drink.
You need a bite to eat?
I need a drink.
You need a bite to eat? Look, they brought these yummy chickens. You want to try one?
Then from Makati, we went to Quezon City, which is like the northeastern part of Manila Metro. Okay, so when we left Manila, we flew to Leyte, which is the island we're on right now. It seemed to be like exactly what we were expecting the province to be.
What'd you think? Turn to the side. Go. Good job. Your turn.
You should beat me too.
Jump. Woo!
I want to go on the high dive.
Close your eyes. Close your eyes.
Okay, that's the last time.
The next place we went after Manila Metro was Tacloban. We flew from Manila to Tacloban, which if you're coming to the island of Leyte, the province of Leyte, you will be flying into Tacloban. We only spent 1 day there, 1 whole day. Everyone was really friendly. It was far more laid back than Manila. From Tacloban, we took a 2.5 day road trip, if you will, to where we are now, which is Bye Bye City. We passed through, I'll put the words up here on the screen somewhere. No idea how to say it. Then another place called Haro, I think. And then another town we stopped in, and then we made it to Ormoc. We stayed overnight in Ormoc, got up early, went for a little walk, recorded a little. It was super humid, I do remember that. But it's the Philippines, what do you expect? After we left Ormoc, we went up to Miko's Eco Park, which is in the northeast or northeast of town. And then we completed the journey down here to Bye Bye City, which is where we presently are. We've been here for 2 weeks now, and that is the conclusion today. Wait, no, more than 2 weeks. We've been here more than 3 weeks. But yeah, so that's where we are as of now. Bye Bye, it's the city of Bye Bye in Leyte, Philippines. Wonderful people, wonderful location. We're staying on the ocean. And in the coming weeks, you'll see many videos from Leyte, mostly from Bye Bye City, but some from other places too. Overall, we are extremely thankful to have the opportunity to do what we're doing. and we understand how truly fortunate we are. Be it from circumstance, hard work, everything, the culmination of life that led us to this point. We're very, very, very thankful that we're able to do this. If you're still watching at this point, please subscribe. It would mean a lot to us. It'd be great if you would like or comment or share or any of those things. Also, I think this would be a good point to say, if you have questions for us about anything, whatever, we're going to do like a history of the Davis family video, but no time soon. But if you have specific questions, we'll address those in that video. Just leave them in the comments down below. Now, if you go to www.beautifulplacestofilmavlog.com, probably looks just like this.